I say unto you, I will not drink henceforth of this fruit of the vine, until that day when I drink it new with you in my Father's kingdom. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done in earth, as it is in heaven.
We're living in a time we're going to meet Yahweh Shai. You're going to meet him face to face, which is proof also that we have to be changed. We can't meet the Lord like this. He's going to change you, he's going to crown you, and he's going to toast with you. Sometimes when Akim are among each other, we'll do little small toasts. Brothers may be like La Yasharala, holding up cups, but imagine the Lord himself hosting it, man. And we join in. And I was reading something else, and pretty much they said in order to have what they call a loyal toast, you would use wine. That's the beverage of choice. And once again, our Lord, he's coming back, and we're going to see him with all that power, man. But he's going to extend that power to you.
The Spirit itself beareth witness with our spirit that we are the children of God. And if children, then heirs of God, and joint heirs with God. If so be that we suffer with him, that we may be also glorified together. For I reckon that the sufferings of this present time are not worthy to be compared with the glory which shall be revealed in us. For the earnest expectation of the creature waiteth for the manifestation of the sons of God. For the creature was made subject to vanity, not willingly, but by reason of him who hath subjected the same, in hope, because the creature itself also shall be delivered from the bondage of corruption into the glorious liberty of the children of God. For we know that the whole creation groaneth and travaileth in pain together until now. And not only they, but ourselves also, which have the first fruits of the Spirit, even we ourselves groan within ourselves, waiting for the adoption, to wit, the redemption of our body.
And once again, when our Lord returns, he's going to wield that power to you elect as well. Once again, he's going to change you. He's going to crown you. And he's going to have a toast with you. A kingly toast, which will basically be a celebration for victory over the beast, victory over this system, victory over Edom Rome coming back, and Edom Rome's mark, which will be that Quran. So we're going to celebrate with our Lord Yahweh Shai, and honestly, there is no telling what all he has in store for us.
Drink ye all of it, for this is my blood of the New Testament.
All right, Shalom. First and foremost, I would like to give all praise and glory unto Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem Rakakwadash, and double honors unto the apostles and the elders of GMS who rule well, teach well, being great examples towards younger brothers. And peace and blessings, salutations to the hopeful elect out there pushing the word of truth and in sincerity across the four winds in the name of Yahweh Bashim Shai, pushing to get up out of here. Shalom to the hopeful elect, the believers, the listeners who have came back to the obedience of the scriptures through faith in Yahweh Bashim Shai. All right, I want to get into the day, as a term, the beloved brother Naharia, all right, from out of the GMS Orlando. We was talking the other day and going into how the Navy SEALs, okay, they have this bell, okay, and whenever you want to quit training, okay, you can just ring that bell, okay, and when you ring that bell, that's letting everybody know that you quit, Okay. So you have, like it's like a thing of shame. Okay. You're acknowledging that you're not cut out. Okay. And we see the same thing happening in the spirit. Okay. And it's of Yahweh Bashim Al Shai that we're able to endure. When you go into the elect, well, the elect are built a certain way. The scriptures speak about Caleb and Joshua, how, they were different. You see the spirit that was in Caleb, it was different. Okay, because you had those Jakes that went to spy out the land. Okay, and they came back with a faithless report. They were terrified at the size of, those Hamites. Okay, and it made them draw back. Okay, it made them doubt. Okay, but Caleb, like, nah, man, we got these niggas, man. The Lord with us. Okay, so that's why the elect are predestined, because they're built a certain way, man. And Lord we're built a certain way to endure to the end, but we don't ring that bell in the spirit. Okay, because we're laboring to enter into that comfort. All right, and I want to start this here, get a couple of precepts. Then I want to play a quick short. All right, of this Navy SEAL. He gave a speech. And it's very spiritual to our walk. Is very relatable to our walk in the spirit. So I want to go into the book of Luke, all right, chapter 14 and verse 26. Okay, because when we come into the truth, we're taking on a commitment. This is a heavy commitment that we take on when we come into the truth, man. Okay, Luke 14 and 26, it says, if anyone comes to me and does not hate, okay, you see, and when you go into the word hate, you go into the footnote, it says an exaggerated figure of speech indicating a lesser degree of love, not actual hostility or aversion toward one's earthly family. Because it's not a thing that we just have this intense hatred of hostility towards the family. It's just a lesser love we have now. Okay, our priorities are changed. As the scriptures say, all things are new. To those that are born into Yahweh, all things are new. Okay, so we have a new outlook. We have a new perspective on family and marriage and, this world and ambition. And we have a whole new outlook now. Okay, to why our priorities have been rearranged around this promise, man, around this blessing, around this commitment. Okay, to Yahweh Bashim Al Shai. Okay, because we look at this as a privilege, because there's two ways you can look at the truth. The elect is going to look at this as a privilege. Okay, the non-elect look at it as a burden. Okay, the elect are visionaries. Caleb was a visionary. He's seen. You got to understand, Caleb already seen Israel chilling in the land. Okay, the resources, the wealth, the family. Caleb seen that. You weren't tripping on them niggas that were there. Okay, but that was the mind of the elect. The elect are visionaries, man. Okay, it says, if anyone comes to me and does not hate his own father and mother and wife and children and brothers and sisters, yes, and even his own life. Okay, it says he cannot be my disciple. You see, so if you don't have a certain mindset, okay, if you don't have a certain outlook, if you're not a visionary, okay, you're not built for this, man. Okay, this ain't for you, man. Okay, and the Most High, all right, make you ring that bell. Okay, verse 27, it says, whoever does not carry his own cross, expressing a willingness to endure whatever may come. Okay, expressing a willingness to endure whatever may come. You see, like I say, this is a mindset, man. Like the prophets, the elect, hey, they out there. They not normal. Okay, they kind of out there, man. This ain't just no So I said, this ain't no hangout. If you're in the hangout spirit, okay, that's why, these guys go to these other camps because there's no requirements. They can just go hang out on the comment board. That's why they cleave to these camps. There's nothing required of them. They're not required to add anything to the ministry. They can just come hang out. Okay? But when you start going into being committed, okay, when you start going into sacrificing, when you start going into, okay, laboring, that's a whole nother arena. Okay? It says expressing no willingness to endure whatever may come and follow after me, believing in me, conforming to my example in living. And Yahweh Shai, no one suffer more than him. Okay? Yeah, Jacob talk about my family. Yahweh Shai didn't have no family. He didn't even deal with women. He didn't do the family thing at all for our sake. Okay? We're not held to that standard where we got to do that. The Lord let brothers have families and, women and, So anything that anyone could complain about, Yahweh Shai had it way harder because he had to answer directly to the Father. Okay? But you can't report to a camp head. You see, Yahweh Shai had to answer directly to the Father. Okay? So no one had it harder than him. You see? It says, believing in me, conforming to my example in living, and if need be, suffering or perhaps dying because of faith in me, okay, cannot be my disciple. So Yahweh Shai don't want you niggas around that ain't committed, man. And he causing, all right, he's pulling cards. You see, Yahweh Shai pulling, okay, you niggas cards, man. Getting you out of here. See? Making you ring that bell. Okay? Because we're going into the clutch, man. All right? And you want to go into the clutch with men that are constantly proving themselves, man. Lord will we endure. Because it's all of you, how about Shem Al Shai, not of us, man. Lord will we of that predestined number that's built to endure, man. Okay? Luke 14:28. For which one of you, when he wants to build a watchtower for his guards, does not sit down and calculate the cost to see if he has enough to finish it? Okay, so we're counting the cost. As we begin to build, we have to really calculate the cost, man. Are we willing to lose families? Are we willing to lose lifestyles? Okay. What is everything on the table when it comes to Yahweh Shai? It's something that you got in your back pocket that's non-negotiable. You got to really count this cost, man. Okay, it says otherwise, when he has laid a foundation and is unable to finish the building, all who see it will begin to ridicule him. And then you can imagine having to ring that bell, to walk to that bell. You can imagine that shame, man. Okay, and that's your legacy, man. You rung that bell no matter what you've done to that point. Once you ring that bell, that's your legacy. Okay? That's what's going to be remembered. Luke 14:30, it says, saying this man began to build and was not able to finish, man. And we in the time, man, we want to finish out, man. But they have that saying in track, hey, run through the tape. We want to finish and scribe, man. Try to run is like mouse scribe, man. Inside joke. But yeah, man, it's fourth down. You see, this is it. You see? So let's go here. I want to give this a quick short. It's not long. All right, so let's play this.
SEAL training, there's a bell. A brass bell that hangs in the center of the compound for all the students to see. All you have to do to quit is ring the bell. Ring the bell, and you no longer have to wake up at 5 o'clock. Ring the bell, and you no longer have to be in the freezing cold swims. Ring the bell, and you no longer have to do the runs, the obstacle course, the PT, and you no longer have to endure the hardships of training. All you have to do is ring the bell to get out. If you want to change the world, don't ever, ever ring the bell.
You're going to have to run that back. It's heavy, and I know brothers immediately can relate to it when they heard this, man. We're going to run it back, then we're going to expound in the spirit, man. If you want to change the world, never ring the bell. All right?
Finally, in SEAL training, there's a bell. A brass bell that hangs in the center of the compound for all the students to see. All you have to do to quit is ring the bell. Ring the bell, and you no longer have to wake up at 5 o'clock. Ring the bell, and you no longer have to be in the freezing cold swims. Ring the bell, and you no longer have to do the runs, the obstacle course, the PT, and you no longer have to endure the hardships of training. All you have to do is ring the bell to get out. If you want to change the world, don't ever, ever ring the bell. Finally,
there you go, man. You see? And like he said, just with the Navy SEALs, you know, once you ring the bell, all right, you're relinquished of all these commitments. Okay, the ice cold swims, the random, long jogs, and you see the intense training, 5 a.m. you're not committed to that anymore once you ring that bell. Just like Jake, they'll ring that bell. So now Jake don't got to go to camp no more. He relinquished that commitment. You see? Jake don't have to watch the news anymore, be a watchman anymore. Okay? He don't have to come to class anymore. He doesn't have to report to anybody anymore. Okay? He doesn't have to worry about a job conflicting with camp. Now he can go do what he wants. He dropped all commitments. He's not obligated to those things anymore. Once Jake ring the bell in the camp, okay, and get out of here, man. They don't have those commitments anymore, man. Okay, and that Jake in North Carolina, he just rung the bell. He wasn't coming, all right, to those brothers to get counsel or getting permission to take 3 weeks off. Okay. He was coming to ring the bell. Okay? He just dressed it up like it was something else, but that guy came and rung that bell, man. Because now he's able to do what he wants to do with no obligations. Okay? He got tired of that obligation, man. Okay? It became a burden. It wasn't a privilege to serve Yahweh Shai. It was a burden to that nigga, man. Okay? And them goofy niggas he was counseling with. You see? So let's go back to some more precepts. Let's go here to let's get this. All right. Let's get this in Hebrews. Hebrews is a heavy book. So we'll jump around in Hebrews. It's the book of Hebrews, chapter 4. Okay, which is why part of the title was inspired from. Okay. This is Hebrews 4:11. It said, "Let us therefore make every effort to enter their rest, Okay, because we can rest in the kingdom. We got forever to rest. Be comfortable, man. The last concern we should have is trying to be comfortable. Be at ease. Nah, man, we in the trenches, man. Okay, it's a spiritual war, man. You know? So you leave your brother, because going to ring the bell, that means you got to go leave the men you was in the trenches with. You got to leave them. You know? Now they're a man short. You see? Because they already had divided up, you know, in units, and who going, you know, because they got to carry boats, you know. When you go into this SEAL training, hey, that's what David Goggins used to say. Who going to carry the boats, man? You see? Nah, man. We be comfortable in the kingdom forever, man. Okay? That's the last thing on our mind, man. We out here in the trenches, man. Okay? It's gonna be uncomfortable, man. You see? But now, all right, you jakes that rung the bell, you have all the free time you want. Go be cute in America. Okay? It said, let us therefore make every effort to enter that rest, O power, all right, to know and experience it for ourselves. All right? To enter the rest of the power of the Most High. Okay? To know and experience it for ourselves, so that no one will fall by following the same example of disobedience as those who died in the wilderness, man. Them niggas weren't built. The Lord killed off their whole generation, man. They came out of Egypt, man. Okay? Except Caleb and Joshua. Okay? And the children of that generation, man. Okay, but none of them complaining, because them niggas was crying for what? Them comforts. Niggas wanted them comforts back in Egypt, man. They didn't look at the manna, and they didn't look at the miracles. Okay, the manna that just appeared, the quail. Okay, the water that came out of the rock. Niggas didn't appreciate the miracles, man. Niggas wanted to be comfortable. And then they didn't have no vision for where the Lord was taking them, man. Okay? So that generation was an example of how not to be. And Caleb and Joshua was an example of how to be, man. You know? Caleb kept the faith for 40 years, man. He was locked in. He didn't care how long it took, man. Caleb said, look, I'm strong now like I was then. He was in his 80s. He like, look, let's go. The same energy, 40 years, man. Okay? And that's the spirit of the elect. You see? So we don't want to be like these men, as the scriptures say, that draw back. Let's get that in the Hebrews. Let's get this in Hebrews, the 10th chapter. All right, this is the book of Hebrews, chapter 10. I'll read that in 37. It says, matter of fact, start at 35. It says, do not therefore fling away your fearless confidence, for it has a glorious and great reward. And all here it is, we have an eternal reward, man. The Lord got it set up to where we're doing temporary work for an eternal reward, man. Okay? And the nigga talking about a salary. Okay? A salary? What are we doing, man? Okay? You're a grown man in America, man. Of course, go get a job and work and pay bills. You see? That's not a head scratcher, man. You see? But we talking about something way beyond that, man. They don't compare, man. You see? Hebrews 10:35 again, it said, do not therefore fling away your fearless confidence, for it has a glorious and great reward. For you have need of patient endurance to bear up difficult circumstances without compromising, man. The Most High not compromise. Yahushua not compromise. Even Yahushua, when he asked for another way, he didn't get no answer, man. Ain't no other way. Okay, this is already set up. You know, and Yahushua knew, like, okay, this, you know, you see, because we have weak moments, so it ain't like, you know, brothers don't be feeling certain ways. Some days, like going, like brothers ain't, you know, clicking their heels going to camp every week, man. But it got to be done. Okay. Yes, the flesh wants to chill and be comfortable, man. But that's why we got to dominate the flesh, man. The spirit. See, the spirit is willing. The flesh is weak. So it's not a thing like we don't have moments. All right. Yahushua had a moment. All right. And he had to snap into it. Okay. He had to lock in. You see? Well, ain't no compromising, man. You know, so you think a job, you know, is you know, the Lord's going to compromise, okay, with what you got going on, what we got going on? Nah, man, the Lord ain't compromising, man. That or me. When those high don't compromise, how shy don't compromise. They don't do ultimatums and time, you know. You see? Okay? And it says, so that when you have carried out the will of the Most High, you may receive and enjoy to the full what is promised, man. Okay? And let's get to the point, either we believe or we don't. Okay? And the trial of a man is in his reasoning, man. And a guy like that and many others, okay, they have rung their bell, they don't believe. Okay? His reasoning, a man's reasoning shows whether he believes or not. For yet in a very little while, he who is coming will come and will not delay. Okay, which is Yahushua. But my righteous one, the one, all right, justified by faith, shall live by faith, respecting man's relationship to the Most High and trusting him. And if he draws back, shrinking in fear, my soul has no delight in him. Okay, so these men have legacies of drawing back. Okay, verse 39 said, but our way is not that of those who shrink back to destruction, but we are of those who believe, relying on the Most High through faith in Yahushua HaMashiach, the Messiah, and by this confident faith preserve the soul, man. You know, so Jake is just drawn back to destruction, man. Jake left protection, life, abundance, immortality to go back to a guaranteed destruction. That's a guaranteed destruction, man. That's a guaranteed torment. Okay, but for a salary. Okay, you're willing to walk into guaranteed destruction for a salary and leave immortality, man. Leave protection and provisions and mercy in the times we're coming into, man. Okay, and that's what Jake has drawn back to, man. Okay, and that's on them. You see? So let's go here. This is Hebrews 6:9 said, but beloved, even though we speak to you in this way, we are convinced of better things concerning you and of things that accompany salvation. Okay? For the Most High is not unjust, so as to forget your work and love, which you have shown for his name in ministering to the needs of the saints, the Most High's people, as you do, man. This is a real purpose, man. Like Jake waiting on these lessons. Jake waiting on the watchman. Jake is waiting on the report. The believers is daily waiting on these things, man. Okay, and you talking about abandoning them 3 weeks, and they're just this guy just an example. But damn, you know how much is happening. You miss a day, you miss a lot. Okay, as the beloved Elder Apostle Hart has been saying a lot lately, man. Okay, 3 weeks, man. You out the loop. You know, so someone that was, consistently watching you, man, now they have to wait 3 weeks with all this going on, man. Okay, nah, man. This is a labor of love, man. This is the highest form of love that can be shown is teaching the truth, man. You know, risking it all, man, to teach the truth, man. You know, we can be deemed enemy of the states any day, domestic tea, you know. All right, anything, man. But it's a labor of love. It's a sacrifice that we have to. Hey, we already counted that cost. Okay, verse 11 says, "And we desire for each of you that you show the same diligence all the way through." Okay, there's a standard, and Jake don't want to deal with that standard. You see, because like that Jake said, I'm not doing 3 videos a day. Well, no one told you do 3 videos a day. You're just offending their brothers that got their spirit to do that. Well, that comes from Yahweh B'Shem Al-Shai. Okay, and you're just offended as a standard. Okay, you just a nigga that know that you an Israelite. And that's where it stops. Okay? And the Lord just woke you up to beat you with many stripes. Okay? It said so as to realize and enjoy the full assurance of hope until the end. Okay? And we have a full assurance of hope, man. That's what's driving us, man. This is not of us. There's a spirit that's on brothers that's driving brothers, man. It's a full assurance of hope, man. Okay? It says, so that you will not be spiritually sluggish, but will instead be imitators of those who through faith lean on the Most High with absolute trust and confidence in Him and His power, and by patience, endurance, even when suffering, okay, are now inheriting the promises, man. Okay? So faith prevents us from being spiritually sluggish, man. Truly believing in this thing, man. And we have, men that have set standards that we can imitate. Okay? Because we imitated niggas in the world. But then when it comes to imitating men in the spirit, then they're doing too much. Okay? Nah, man, it's the spirit. Okay, they got brothers own what they own, man. Okay, and the thing ain't about doing, a bunch of videos. The thing is about your sincerity, man, and fighting. Your consistency, man. It's about being consistent in your lot, man. Every brother lot different, but every brother should be consistent in their lot, man. Okay, in their sincerity, man. Okay, the fact that someone would ask that question to take a leave. Well, look, you damn right you can take a leave. Okay, and never come back. You see? So yeah, man. So I guess I'll leave it there, man. I won't beat a dead horse. But I want to show this too real quick because it's spiritual. Because that little short I played, because when you do the shorts, you can hit the up and down arrow. Okay, and it'll go to the next video. So when I played this, going back to here. So when I played this short for the Marines, and the spirit just had it, when you hit the down arrow, just The next video.
It's amazing how we went from slave ship.
Finally, in SEAL training, there's a bell.
So this the next video. We just click the down arrow is the beloved elder brother Amawang Gabar. All right, channel GMS Awakening 144. You know, subscribe and be edified. But then not only that it's a brother, but listen to the message, man. You know, let's go.
It's amazing how we went from slave ships to spaceships. In the kingdom of heaven, that's what we're going to say to ourselves. How amazing it was that we went from slave ships to spaceships. The way we got kicked out and evicted from our homeland to the glorious return back into our homeland. The contrast between the greatest humility of all time to the greatest glorification of all time will be displayed by the Heavenly Father using us, the Israelites. This is Baruch chapter 5 and verse 6. For they departed from thee on foot and were led away of their enemies. But Yahweh Bahashim Yahweh Shai bringeth them unto thee exalted with glory as children of the kingdom. Wow. Hey, that's beautiful. That is absolutely beautiful. The way we were humiliated, kicked out, you know, the diaspora, the fall of our kingdom, Jerusalem, after 70 AD, we had to fled into different parts of the earth, predominantly Africa, the west coast of Africa. From there, brought to Babylon the Great in slave ships to suffer over 400, 500 plus years, 600 years of hardcore bondage. Of course, because Esau came over here and had his way with the northern kingdom before Judah even got over here, Benjamin and Levi. All of that so that the Heavenly Father can teach us a lesson, and lesson learned. So now we're being cleaned. We're being cleaned up, glorified, and prepared for that wedding. So Yahweh Shai can take us back to our homeland, and there the nations will see who Yahweh Hashem Yahweh Shai was truly with. Hey, this verse alone, this daily verse, deserves its own lesson. But anyway, that's today's daily verse. I want to give all praises to Yahweh Hashem Yahweh Shai, double honors to the apostles and the elder bishops of Great Millstone, and salutations to the elect.
Yeah, man, that's spiritual. That's beautiful. You know how that was set up. You know, all praise Yahweh Hashem Yahweh Shai, man. You know, and we want to be part, okay, of that glory, man. From going from those slave ships to the chariots. You see? Well, we got to endure. We have to labor to get there, man. You know, it ain't no compromising. Okay? So, you know, the Lord is laying this thing out. You know, the stage is being set. Okay, for, you know, those to endure. All right? There's built, you know, from the foundation of the earth, you know, to endure. Those are the ones that's going to endure. You know, and you're going to have people ringing their bell, man, as things get more intense, things get more serious. Okay, that bell ringing finna, that's finna increase. It's finna be an uptick in that bell ringing, man. The more that's required of us, man. You know, so Lord will we endure. We anchor down in this truth. We rooted and endure, man. You know, so that's the point. Just wanted to get into that, Lord will. You brothers, all right, and you sisters edified once again. I want to give all praise and glory unto Yahweh Bahashim, Yahweh Shai Bahashim Rakakwadash, and double honors unto the apostles and the elders of GMS who rule well, teach well, being great examples towards younger brothers. And peace and blessing, salutation to the whole elect. Shalom.